After doing a lot of number crunching in my last video, I decided to treat myself by tackling some low-hanging fruit. So here is 10 questions atheists cannot answer.
Do you really believe that science is the only answer to all of life's questions?
Science doesn't answer anything. Science is a process for understanding reality. People answer questions posed by other people. But I'm being pedantic to point out how silly your question is, so let me answer your childish question with as much seriousness as I can muster. Yes, science can answer everything. Science is about making testable, repeatable results and observing reality. If something is part of reality and can be observed in any way, shape, or form, we can test it. The only way your deity can hide from science is if it does not affect reality. For example, does your deity answer prayers? Well, we've tested that, and it doesn't work. I've posted a link to a study done in 2006, but to summarize, they tested hundreds of cases where people were prayed for and where they weren't, and not only found that those prayed for had no better chance of recovering than those that weren't, those that were told they were being prayed for actually fared worse, regardless of whether they were actually being prayed for.
If God doesn't exist, why do you care if people worship him?
Why do you care if we don't? Sorry, I'm being snarky again. Maybe because we care about people, and care if you're in essence hurting yourself in your future worshipping an invisible sky daddy? Or perhaps because people like you make laws and regulations that hurt people like us? Or maybe because your ideas and beliefs are not only damaging to society, but potentially dangerous to certain individuals? Could that be a reason?
Seriously, can nothing create something?
No, and neither do you. If you can make this asinine claim, you don't know anything about science. For example, the Big Bang model proposes that all matter and energy in the universe used to exist in one small space, and that matter and energy expanded outward from that point to form what we call the universe. The model never posits the idea of where that matter or energy came from, nor is there ever a reason to believe that there ever was nothing.
If you've never been to the ends of the earth, if you've never been to every planet, if you've never been to every part of the universe, how do you know that God doesn't exist?
Because we have not one shred of evidence that he does? Or how about for the very reason you claim Vishnu doesn't exist? Odin? Zeus? Santa Claus? The Easter Bunny? Now, besides pointing out the fact that Christians have no evidence to claim their God exists, and tons upon tons of evidence to prove the Bible's account of history is largely false, discrediting it as any kind of factual account, including the book itself, which contradicts itself repeatedly, the very notion of a deity is self-refuting. For an all-powerful, all-knowing deity to have created mankind, it would by definition know everything about us, how we think, how we feel, how we react to things. If the same deity wants mankind to do anything, even just do something simple like know it exists, it would know exactly how to do it, and your God is so inept it doesn't. By definition, your deity can't be all-powerful, or all-knowing, or even reasonably intelligent. And don't get me started on the idea of omnibenevolence.
What is the origin of life?
We don't know, but we have ideas. And what does that matter? Life exists, this we know. Just because you claim your God created it doesn't make that fact, and the claim itself is easily debunked. I mean, we know the account in Genesis didn't happen for a fact. And if you start with, well, the Bible isn't literal, just wait for my answer to the next question.
If humans are animals, then where does our sense of justice, where does our sense of morality, where does our sense of what's right and what's wrong come from?
All people, religious or not, get their morality from a sense of enlightened self-interest. I want to live. You want to live. We agree not to kill each other. I want to keep my stuff. You want to keep your stuff. We agree not to take each other's stuff. Welcome to the fundamental basis of all laws. Morality is nothing more than a description of social rules. Good is good social behavior. Evil is bad social behavior. And what we in general consider good and evil changes as we find more and more common ground, and as we start to empathize with people we previously didn't. And best of all, you yourself are proof of that. You do not follow a literal interpretation of the Bible. If you did, you'd be stoning unruly children, killing non-believers, and owning slaves, because your Bible tells you that this is all good and moral. But you as a person understand that all of these things are not good, they are in fact bad. So you creatively reinterpret passages that you find morally reprehensible so that they no longer apply. You do mental gymnastics so that you can justify your deity being relevant to your morality, because to acknowledge that your deity thinks evil things are good would destroy your religion.
If you were given irrefutable evidence that the God of the Bible is real, would you become a Christian?
Your God is a monster that believes in torturing people for eternity for doing the exact things he made them to do. Would I believe he existed if I had evidence? Yep, go ahead and present it. Would I worship this monster? Fuck no.
Tell me something. If evolution is real, and if evolution is really happening, how come there are no transitional forms that we can observe?
Every creature is a transitional form. We're all constantly evolving and changing. It's just very gradual. But if you want real-time transitions, look at dogs. We bred wolves selectively enough that now we have artificially designed dogs that couldn't survive in the wild. If you're referring to the fossil record, however, and complaining about a supposed lack of transitional forms, the fault is yours because you haven't fucking looked.
Do you live according to what you believe, or do you live your life according to what you lack in belief?
Huh? Are you mental? Oh, you're serious. Okay. I live my life based on both. I believe a fire will burn me, so I don't stick my hand in one. I don't believe Santa's real, so I don't leave cookies out for him. See how you can do both? And how we all do both?
If God doesn't exist and the Christian dies, the Christian loses nothing. But if God does exist and you die as an atheist, do you not lose more? Will you not lose your soul?
This is just Pascal's wager, which has been thoroughly debunked for centuries. But in a nutshell, if you had to believe in a god for fear that not believing means punishment, and simply hedging your bets is the safest route, you must also believe in Zeus. After all, if you're wrong, you'll lose your soul when you die to Zeus, and end up visiting Hades in the underworld for eternity. And don't get me started on Vishnu and Odin and the rest. You see, your idea is based on playing it safe, but you only advocate that when it suits your chosen deity, and not in any real sense. If you applied your idea in practice, you'd believe in all gods to play it safe. Your idea is also based on the idea that any deity you believe in on this basis can't tell you're just hedging your bets and don't actually believe. You're only proposing it to try and push people to worship the deity you worship as a what do you have to lose, rather than giving them any real convincing reasons to believe. You know you have no good reason to believe, or you'd present it. So instead you play games to try and convince people so you look less stupid. And there you go, I answered 10 unanswerable questions. Please rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.